Well, excited to get back here in the Memorial Stadium, and obviously, the part that jumped out to me more than anything is just like because of what we've been able to do and how we've been able to do it. The last time we lost 2 games back to back was last year with Oregon and Minnesota, and it's just not a feeling that we want to get used to. And my main message to our guys yesterday was obviously we needed to correct the film and take a step forward and see the things that we did wrong, but it took forever to get the feeling out of our building that not failure, but losing was acceptable, or setbacks were okay, especially, from our coaching standpoint, breeding that into our players. And I just, after the game, watching our players' reactions in the locker room, watching a little bit on Sunday, I just had a leadership council meeting with our guys last night and wanted to remind them of that, right? Like, as soon as you begin to feel that or see that or understand that or allow it, that becomes more of a common factor than you want. So I really stress to our guys to make sure that we're focused on the things at hand. I think they are and they will, but I'm very aware of that as a head coach. It took me forever to get that thing going in the right direction, and it's really important to keep it and maintain it. And that, with that being said, to our fans as well, like I know they're disappointed to, obviously they weren't probably at Washington, but a lot of them were here at Ohio State, probably one of the best environments, even though it wasn't a winning performance for us. Like, I just really felt that environment for the Ohio State game, and really the week before or 2 weeks before that for USC, was a game changer. And we talk a lot about family in here, and I say it all the time to our fans, like, do really feel like we're all in this together. I think the world of college football is so insane right now with a lot of things that are happening, right? Like, you can see and understand, like, the presence and the awareness of what Josh has created here at Illinois in our athletic department, and especially here in football. That feeling, I think our guys really genuinely react to the fan base, and I know you're disappointed, but I would just encourage you to set the clocks early. I think the tailgate situation got worked out. We should be able to get into our lots plenty early enough and be where they need to be to set up a great environment. Rutgers is a very good football team that obviously had success last week in a tough one. Any game in the Big Ten is tough. Got a lot of respect for Greg and his staff, know a lot of their coaches. Obviously, offensively, they've been very creative and productive. Their quarterback has got a lot of experience. Played against him a couple different times now at a couple different venues. To have that game here at home on Saturday is going to be a great asset for us, and we got to use it to its fullest. So our crowd's going to be a big part of that. So from an injury standpoint, I do expect. Tommy didn't come with us last week. We really thought I met with you guys on Thursday, and we really thought he was going to get cleared that day, practice, but it just didn't go the way we had hoped. So I do think he'll be with us this week, coming back off of the concussion protocol. A couple guys got banged up on Saturday. We're still in the evaluation process on a couple of those guys, but I think everybody that was with us on Saturday out at Washington that came back with us should be with us on Saturday. There might be a couple guys that we have limited on Tuesday, Wednesday. Just getting to be that time of the year. We got a bye week next week, so we got a chance to rest and recover our guys. But we have a 4-game schedule over 5 weeks. 3 of those 4 games are at home, which is absolutely awesome. But nothing's more important than Saturday at 11 o'clock. So with that, open it up for questions.
Brady talked about potentially getting more involved. Is there any more involvement with the defense this week for you?
Every week's kind of a little bit different. I've just known, Greg for a long time. I know the defense coordinator, played against our offensive coordinator now a couple of years. So we did sit down this morning. On Mondays, we start, we go pretty early, late on Sundays. Monday mornings, I usually leave alone in the morning, but I did start it off right away with a meeting this morning with the defense. Kind of just, I put together a presentation on how I see the game. Like, a lot of times I actually don't want to force what I see on them, because I think a lot of times the more views that you have on the same scenario is actually very beneficial. But I worked a lot last night, got in early this morning and put together a feeling on what I thought I saw from Rutgers offensively. I shared that with the offense staff. We met for a couple hours and want to do that before they jumped into their true game plan, finalizing things. So it'll be a work in progress. Tomorrow night will be a little bit more third down generated. We always work third down Wednesday, Thursday. So I'll be kind of a day ahead of where they're at on the field, and that's kind of how I decide to roll.
But what gives you confidence that this defense can kind of level out over the next 4
Well,
years?
I have a lot of confidence in our players, and more important, a lot of confidence in our coaches been around them. I told them last Sunday afterwards, obviously, Sunday was a really tough day, which I think is a good thing. If nobody was hurting or nobody was feeling it, then that'd be a bad thing. But I thought, I said to them, listen, like, where we're at and what we're doing is a part of our past. The only thing we control is tomorrow. So we had to have a really good Sunday, really stress that to our players. Another thing that we really talk a lot in our building about is communication. One of the most prideful things that I have since I've been here is just the way we communicate and talk, not just in our building, but the way we talk with people on campus, the way we talk with the academics, the way we talk with the medical people. There are just so many bridges that have been built since I've been here on all the things that make the football game really easy. So defensively, they've been a part of that. You know, some of those guys in that room actually played for me, so they know the importance that I believe in communicating. So I did encourage our players, if there's anything they have on their chest that they want to say or do, to talk to their coaches. I know Aaron had some meetings on Sunday with kind of our group leaders on defense, but you know, it's always, you know, we all have these relationships, right? Like we all have relationships, personal relationships, friendship relationships, husband and wives, you know, co-workers. For me as a head coach, my position of leadership, everybody thinks it's all this in a bag of chips. It is really, really good, but a lot of times to lead through adversity is one of the most difficult things to do, because it's a very lonely position, but it's also very hard to tell people that you love things they don't want to hear, right? And a lot of times the backside of that can be very rewarding. So the place where we're at on Saturday was temporary because it's going to move forward very quickly for us in our program, but I have a lot of confidence in that room as a coach.
Penalties Saturday in Washington were about double what you kind of been averaging this year.
We have 8.
Yeah. Made a lot of.
They had 8, we had 8. What killed me was post-snap penalties. I always say, like, there's a difference. Like, people are going to have, you know, you're going to get a holding call, you're going to get a face mask, you're going to get a DPI, you're going to get an OPI, but it's the post-snap penalties that we can't tolerate, right? So Josh had one, I addressed it with him. Brendan Henderson had one that was, obviously we got it to a 3rd and medium, and that really had an advantageous effect at a very, very bad time there. Made him understand that. And then defensively, Angelo McCollum had 2 hands to the face, which is inexcusable. So those are the ones that are the problem childs for me. Not that any penalty is okay, but post-snap penalties are just, they can't be tolerated.
I guess with 3rd down, like when you went back and watched it, and listened to the long ones, what is there anything that's been jumping out at you that kind of translates between game to game?
You know, so numbers are awesome, right? Numbers are very hard to argue with, right? Like I'm working flashcards with my daughters, right? And 3 + 2 adds to 5, so does 4 + 1, and so does 6 - 1, right? Like there's a lot of ways to get to a number, but what I showed our team on Sunday was 63 and 67. We had 63 offensive plays, they had 67. But bottom line, they had, a 3-score game that was the difference in the only thing that really matters at the end of the day. We get 1 loss, they get 1 W, right? But I thought it was interesting, 3rd down, we were 9 of 12, they were 9 of 12. And, those are pretty good numbers, but it's about what you do with those conversions and where they take place. They were 6 for 6 in the red zone. We had good numbers, from the red area, but we didn't get down there enough. And obviously, even to start off the game, we ran that fade that, in my opinion was a tough delivery, right? I think we really analyzed what we're doing in those moments. So 3rd downs in the red area inside of 20, we call those 4-point plays, and they're big freaking deals because 4 points is on the line. I'd rather have 7 than 3. So there's all kinds of little things that go into it, but the 3rd and long, and specifically what you're saying, right? Like we had a couple guys run into each other. There were some things where guys were on the ground. There were a lot of things Saturday that we can control. There was a couple things, I'm going to tell you, Ashton Hollins created a fumble on that punt, right? He beat a double team straight down the field and got in that guy's face. We have 4 guys around the ball. They have 1 guy that bounces right in his chest, right? They have a mishandled fumble on an inside zone or a direct run on a 3rd down play that bounces right back in the running back's chest. Quarterback bobbles the ball, bounces up in his hands, he scrambles for it. I mean, it's just like complete, like, okay, this is what it is today. I get it, but I do think 3rd and medium, we got to really, like, there were a lot of 3rd and 4, 5s and 6s, and they're a chain team. They're at the sticks. We got to understand what that means, and how we can play it, defend it better. I think, and then on 3rd and longs, there's a lot of teams that have different philosophies, and now we will have a really general understanding of what I think this guy can do, because this quarterback is different than last week, right? Like this kid can really actually run. Probably better than a lot of people think. He's created a lot of 1st downs. He created a 1st down against us last year that potentially almost beat us. So we got to be very smart about that. But I'm excited. I think our guys respond to challenges. I really like the demeanor of our football team. I know them better than anybody, right? So I'm excited to get into Tuesday practice, see where we go.
Right.
As Aaron talked about the need to play fast, play more downhill, is that more of instilling a mentality, or is it play calling and strategy?
There's probably a little bit of combo platter. I get the question. Everybody always wants to play fast, right? We always want to play fast. I think if you're talking about playing fast, that means you probably got a problem, right? Like we have guys that we feel we can't get them any faster. I promise you. Tank does everything he can during the winter and the summer. How you can get them to play faster is more awareness of what's happening before the snap. So I always tell our guys, the more things you know before the ball is snapped, the faster you can play after it's happened, right? So if this guy's aligned here, he's in a cut split, or the running back is aligned here, the tight end's aligned in a flash position, whatever it is, the more you know before the snap, the faster you can play after. But it really doesn't do you any good to answer that on Friday's test on paper or be able to regurgitate it before the game. When it really matters is when it's 2nd and 8, right, and the ball's on the right hash, and there's a difference between 2nd and 8 right hash and different 2nd and 8 left hash. For a play caller has to understand that, and then for a player, the more you're aware of that, I saw Spoon, he was at our walkthrough on Friday, and just to hear, see, and feel him, his presence is understanding. But I said, "How you been, man?" And we're like talking, and somehow one of our previous games got brought up, and Spoon's like, "I already know what that meeting was like," and I just started laughing. But I talked to him because he was truly one of the first players to get it. He and I had a confrontation one day. I was mad at the way he practiced or the way he pushed someone, and he was mad at me for 3 days. And I think about now, he's probably one of the most respected players in their locker room because of the way he practices and plays. And it's a learning curve. We have some guys playing for us, especially in the defensive back end, that they've been thrust into action. It's not an excuse, it's just reality. And unfortunately, there's some things they got to work through to get to where we want to be. And we got to lean on what we've been great at. Our offense continues to be very impressive. Barry Lunny's shattering records as a play caller. Luke is extremely talented, and as much as I would love to have a better defense around him right now, that hasn't been the case, and we got to be able to do the best we can to give those guys a chance to make sure that they know that they're empowered. I thought some of the things that we did in the second half offensively was because they were pressing, because we weren't doing good defensively, and that's what you don't want to have happen.
Brett, when you put that both offenses, at least in the first half, huddled more of his trickle down pro style. Just what advantages do you see? Or disadvantages?
I go back to when Michigan won a national championship, right? And I looked and I was watching at their film. I just really try to always study the best teams in our league, just because I always think that's advantageous. And Jim, who obviously we have all kinds of history, but I really respect the way he plays the game offensively. And they played that entire championship game almost huddled every snap. And then last week we're getting ready to play Washington, and they would huddle and do fast snap or fast snap, which is what we do a lot of times. So yeah, the game of football is just always constantly evolving, and what we made an awareness with those guys, especially for us on Saturday with the officials, is a lot of times when they burst and went to the line of scrimmage, everybody wasn't. We just want to make sure they were all set because they were snapping the ball really quick. But that does limit some of the things you could do pressure wise or schematic wise when people do that. Rutgers does a little bit of everything. They did more up tempo against us a year ago than any other time in their season. So their strategy a year ago was up tempo, and I'm sure we'll see some of that as well.
Brett, what's been your philosophy in your 17 years of November games? Of you've put 8 games on tape, and you're trying to adjust for the adjustment that's coming without trying to fix something that's not broken. You know what I'm saying? Kind of saying on either side of the ball, either as a play caller or
big picture wise, November is the ones you remember, right? Like that, I learned that early on. Fortunate to win 3 straight championships at Wisconsin, and I distinctly remember giving guys November calendars to show them if they do what they can in November, you'll be happily rewarded in December and January. So even last year, we lost to Minnesota the first week of November. We went on a 3-game stretch there to do very well, and that paid out dividends for that season. So I think what I've learned from my first championship year to my last year here was November is a very important year. But how does that happen? Well, I actually, I love game planning all the time, but I absolutely probably drive myself batshit crazy because when you get 8 games, there's so much to watch. So this week, defensively, I chose 6 games. I used the Oregon game, obviously, because they were very productive, but I only used it till midway through the second quarter. But then, you got Minnesota, you got Iowa, you got Washington. I got last week against Purdue. Those are 4 teams that we've already, we haven't played Minnesota and Iowa, but I watched that Iowa game. I think that might have been a Friday night game if I'm not mistaken, but there was I remember watching that and seeing it, and it's just fun to so we're later in the year, I consume the same amount of tape, but I actually consume it by watching it in game plans, right? So I watched Ohio's, and I watch Iowa's, and I watch Minnesota's, and then I watch Oregon. So you see how teams are attacking them and how their responses are back. So it's a really fun. That's kind of what I did this morning with the defense, to be honest. Like everybody just kind of plugs it in, and then our game is totally separate, right? Like you have 24th, last year's game, which I think offensively is going to be a real. Now they changed defensive coordinator, so I don't think it has much carryover as last year. But Greg, I know, is maybe calling it even now, right? So there's a lot. And again, that's my job as a head coach. That's just totally different offense, defense, and special teams. You can't kind of coat them all in the same brush.
Aaron talked about, you turn on the tape and it's clear that it's not, defense isn't universally playing with confidence right now. And in your history, how do you foster that kind of confidence?
Well, I think you got to give them a read. You can't fake confidence, right? Like you can't buy confidence. You can't fake it. You can't make somebody believe something they aren't. What you have to do is empower them, right? I always, I have that notebook that I always talk about, right? Like I think the true power of a coach. Every coach thinks that you have players that believe in you, right? Like, well, if they're in our building, hopefully they believe in me, right? But the true power comes from when they understand and walk through everyday life knowing that we believe in them, right? Like that's how you talk to them, that's how you coach them, that's how you instruct them out of difficult moments, right? The empowerment comes from when they feel that you believe in them, right? Because if you got a kid that feels his coaches believe in him, he, in my opinion, goes to unprecedented levels of success, and then it really helps him in moments of adversity, right? Like, I'm not saying I was a great boat captain, but I bought a boat when I was in Iowa City. I'm a really young coach. I bought it because it was a lot of fun, right? I go out and play around the golf, get on the boat. During the summer, we actually lived on it during the summer. It was pretty awesome. But the first time I ever had to park that thing in bad weather was like, it took me like an hour. Right, the boat was blowing me. It was this big houseboat, and like I couldn't get it in. And the person that I owned the boat with at the time said to me, he said, "Nobody ever said there was a great captain in calm waters." Right, the true test comes when there's wavy seas and tough conditions. So I think for us as coaches, right, like especially on the defense side of the ball, they're in waters that aren't calm, right? Like it's one thing to play really, really well when it's going well, but it's when there's these bumps in the road where you need to be at your best. And you got to lean on what you believe in, what you know. One thing that I promise you, I don't deviate very much. Like I am who I am. I definitely have to have an awareness of what's going on around me, but I really, really believe in sticking to what you know brings you success. I've been doing this 17 years. Our success hasn't happened by fault, right? Like I know there's a very, very good reason, and sometimes you got to help. Like, listen, Aaron Henry, like you obviously know how much I love that man, right? Like, but he isn't immune to what I believe and say and what I need to have him feel, right? So that's the fun part of it, right? Like you get to test guys and challenge guys and educate them, but I want to empower him, like, right? I want to empower him to know that I believe in him, right? Rather than everybody asking me what's wrong. That's your guys' opportunity, right? Not throwing stones, but that's what you're supposed to do. That's what that's your job, right? Like, so my job is to empower him to make sure that the last 4 games of the season, and more importantly at Rutgers, is one of good, not bad, right? It'd be easy to kind of do what everybody else is doing. Like the hard thing is to empower and build and know that they're confident and know that they're able to do the things that I know they can do.
Just defense.
One more.
Yeah.
You guys have played such an aggressive style of defense. You guys now play more contained based on your personnel, based on the opponents you're playing. What is the balance of aggression to get those guys to play fast?
Yeah, well, I think first off, style of play. Like even like I'm kind of a crazy thing on these last couple of weeks, right? Like getting ready to play these guys, and what do we watch a lot of? We watch a lot of Washington, right? And a lot of Purdue, right? And there's all these family trees connected. Barry Odom and Ryan were together. Ryan's at Washington, and what we're doing. And there was a wheel route that Rutgers hit on Washington that put their will in a bind, and they ran it for a touchdown. And whoop! All of a sudden, they didn't play any more man. They were playing zone behind it. And now to the outside world, they don't know what the hell's going on. But like I can see it. I can literally see the chess game going on right in front of me on live eyes. So it's really fun. But I think the piece, even like Aaron, I didn't hear the quote, but like when you're talking about playing fast, even if you're playing zone, you can still play fast, right? It's just, I love, Dylan Rosiak, one of the things when we started playing more zone, I've always thought I love Dill because Dill's a very, I think he has really good vision and he bursts really well. So as a zone defender, so like that USC play that he made was like, he can't make that playing man, right? Like, man, you got to run next guy and play in front of him. That's really good if you're faster, but in zone, everybody has zone eyes. Now you see what's going on in front of you. You can read and react. You can anticipate. sticks are at the route, or if it's a 3rd and 8, you know where the chains are at. And there was a player at A&M. I was watching an A&M LSU game Saturday night late, and there was a corner that batted down the sticks on the 3rd and 8, and it's just like you could tell he was just sitting waiting for those feet to chop, and then he poop, and I'm just like, yes, that's ability, but that's knowledge, right? Like, Spoon's probably one of the better corners I've ever coached, but his awareness and understanding of the game, it's kind of like, I told a couple of our coaches and like, KP, man, like KP, Juice, Torrey to a certain level, man, they got keys to the Cadillac sitting in the pocket and they're leaving the car in the garage, right? Like just play the way you're capable of playing and understand what you've been told and pull the pin, right, man? Like you've been given some really good gifts, now you just gotta go.
All good? Thank you guys.
Kind of big
Huh?
Who don't vote?
Yeah.
Me, Greg Lansing, and Dick Clary, the guy that owns Wigan Pen.
Oh, shit.